In the heart of a remote coastal village, where the salty breeze dances with the whispers of the waves, the sun begins to set, casting a warm golden hue over Maris Cove. Have you ever felt the weight of loneliness pressing upon your heart while standing on the edge of the world, watching as the ocean stretches infinitely before you? This is the moment Elena finds herself in, a moment poised between the past and the uncertain embrace of the future. The lighthouse stands tall, a steadfast sentinel against the horizon, its white walls contrasting sharply with the deep blues of the sea and sky. It has weathered countless storms, illuminating the way for ships navigating the treacherous waters. Yet, for Elena, it feels distant, a relic of her childhood memories now shadowed by grief. After years spent in the bustling city, she has returned to her childhood home, seeking solace from a recent loss that has left her heart heavy and her spirit adrift. Elena, a gentle woman in her late 30s, carries herself with quiet grace, though her eyes reveal the depths of her sorrow. The sun casts long shadows, mirroring the weight of her thoughts as she walks along the rugged cliffs, each step a reminder of the life she once knew. The salty sea air wraps around her, a familiar embrace, yet it does little to ease the ache within. Her dark hair, tousled by the wind, frames her face, and she pauses to take in the breathtaking view, a vibrant canvas painted with hues of orange and pink, fading into the deepening blue of twilight. As she gazes out at the horizon, memories flood her mind like the gentle waves lapping at the shore. Laughter echoes in her ears, the sound of her family's voices, carefree and filled with love. Yet, alongside those joyful recollections, a profound sense of loss washes over her. The lighthouse, once a beacon of hope and adventure, now stands as a symbol of everything she feels she has lost. It feels abandoned, just like her heart. In the distance, an old figure approaches, silhouetted against the waning light. It is Old Man Harold, the lighthouse keeper, a fixture of Maris Cove for as long as anyone can remember. With his kind eyes and weathered face, he carries the wisdom of the sea within him. As he draws near, the warmth of his presence offers a flicker of comfort to Elena's heavy heart. Harold's life has been intertwined with the lighthouse, and he knows his stories like the back of his hand. "Evening, Elena," he calls, his voice a soothing balm against the cool evening air. "It's good to see you back home." Elena nods, forcing a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "It's good to be back, Harold." The words feel hollow, as if the weight of her grief has made it difficult to fully embrace the moment. "Strange how the lighthouse stands firm, isn't it?" Harold muses, looking up at the towering structure. "Through storms and calm, it keeps shining, much like we must, even when the seas of life become rough." His words resonate with Elena, evoking a flicker of understanding. Yet, as she stands beside him, she feels an overwhelming distance between herself and the lighthouse, a distance marked by her own grief and isolation. The ocean stretches endlessly before them, a vast reminder of the unknown, and she wonders if she too can find a way to shine through her storms. "Is it lonely up there?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper, the question revealing her own turmoil. Harold chuckles softly, a sound like distant waves. "A bit, perhaps. But it's a good kind of lonely. It gives me time to reflect, to listen to the sea's stories. Sometimes we must embrace solitude to find our way back to ourselves." Elena watches him closely, intrigued by the wisdom that seems to flow effortlessly from his lips. But her heart weighs heavy with the notion that solitude feels more like a burden than a blessing. She longs for connection, yet the thought of reaching out feels foreign, as if she has forgotten how to truly engage with the world around her. As the sun slips below the horizon, casting the cove in twilight, Elena feels the chill of the evening air wrap around her, a reminder of her own vulnerability. The lighthouse stands before her, a silent guardian, yet she feels as if a great chasm exists between them. It beckons her, calling to the memories she clings to, Yet she struggles to find the courage to respond. In this moment of reflection, the initial conflict within her begins to unfurl, a struggle to reconnect with her past while grappling with the profound sense of loneliness that envelops her. The lighthouse, once a source of joy and adventure, now feels like a distant echo, a reminder of the love she has lost. As the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, Elena takes a deep breath, inhaling the salty air mixed with the scent of wildflowers that cling to the cliffs. The evening is peaceful, yet her heart remains restless. She knows she must confront her emotions, but the path feels uncertain and fraught with shadows. "Perhaps you'll visit the lighthouse soon?" Harold suggests gently, as if sensing her internal struggle. It's a beautiful place to find clarity. Elena nods, though doubt lingers in her mind. Can she truly return to a place that feels so intertwined with her past? The lighthouse looms above her, a fragment of hope and despair, and the question remains, will she find the strength to reconnect with her memories and herself? As the wind carries the echoes of the waves, she feels the pull of the lighthouse, as if it knows her pain and longs to guide her home. The journey toward healing feels daunting, yet as the stars begin to blanket the sky, she understands that perhaps, just perhaps, the lighthouse can help illuminate her path. In this moment, the first chapter of her journey begins, one filled with uncertainty, but also the quiet promise of hope. The waves gently lap at the shore, a soothing lullaby, and as Elena stands on the edge of her old world, she takes a deep breath, allowing the cool night air to fill her lungs, ready to step into the unknown. And so, with the lighthouse watching over her, she prepares to navigate the tides of her heart, seeking the light that will guide her home once more. In the soft embrace of twilight, Elena wandered the familiar paths leading from the lighthouse, her heart heavy with memories that ebbed and flowed like the tide. Each step she took on the weathered stones felt like a journey back into time, where laughter once echoed across the cliffs and the salty air was filled with joy. Yet now, as she walked alone, the laughter had faded, leaving behind only the gentle murmur of the sea and the haunting echoes of her past. With every gust of wind, Elena could almost hear her mother's voice, calling her to the shore when the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange. It was here, on these very cliffs, that she had felt the warmth of family, the sense of belonging that seemed to slip further from her grasp with each passing day. She paused, her gaze drifting to the lighthouse that stood sentinel against the darkening sky, its light beginning to flicker to life. It was a beacon, yes, but also a reminder of the solitude she felt so acutely. Elena's thoughts were interrupted by the familiar creaking of the lighthouse door. Old Man Harold, the keeper of the light, emerged with a warm smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. His presence was a comfort, a reminder of the stories woven into the fabric of this place. "Ah, Elena," he greeted, his voice gravelly yet gentle. "The sea is restless tonight. It always seems to stir up the memories, doesn't it?" She nodded, her heart aching with unspoken words. "It does," she replied softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "It brings back everything and everyone." Harold stepped closer, the weight of years heavy upon him, yet his spirit remained unyielding. Memories can be both a balm and a burden. Sometimes it helps to share them with someone who understands. His eyes twinkled with a wisdom that suggested he had seen many souls walk this path of remembrance before. As they stood together, gazing out at the restless waves, Elena found herself drifting into a reverie. She recalled the summer picnics where her family would feast on fresh crab and sweet corn, the laughter of her siblings mingling with the calls of the seagulls. But those memories were tinged with a bittersweet hue, the joy now shadowed by the absence of those who had once filled her life with light. "Do you ever miss it?" she asked, her voice fragile. "The way things used to be?" Harold turned to her, his expression thoughtful. "We all have our own ghosts to contend with," he replied. "But it is how we honor those memories that counts. They remain a part of us, shaping who we are. The lighthouse is a reminder that even in the darkest nights, there is always a light to guide us home." Elena felt a flicker of warmth in his words, yet the weight of her grief lingered like the fog rolling in from the sea. She wanted to share her heart, to open up about the loss that cloaked her like a shroud, but the words caught in her throat. Instead, she changed the subject, looking out at the horizon. "Do you ever think about the stories the sea holds?" she asked, trying to divert the heaviness that settled between them. Harold chuckled softly. "Ah, the sea is a storyteller indeed. It holds tales of lost ships, of lovers separated by distance, and of dreams washed ashore." He paused, his gaze distant, as if he were listening to the whispers of the waves. "But it also carries hope. Each wave that crashes against the rocks is a reminder that even after the fiercest storms, there is calm." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in deep purples and blues, Elena felt a pull to the lighthouse. Its light bathed the cove in a warm glow, and she yearned to step inside, to feel the familiar embrace of its walls. "Can I climb up to the top?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. "Of course," Harold replied, a smile spreading across his face. "The view from up there is unlike any other. It can help you see things more clearly." With a hesitant heart, Elena followed Harold inside the lighthouse. The steps leading up were worn and smooth, each one a testament to the countless footsteps that had come before her. As she ascended, the air grew cooler, filled with the scent of salt and aged wood. When she reached the top, she stepped out onto the balcony, and her breath caught in her throat. The vast expanse of the ocean stretched before her, shimmering under the emerging stars. The sound of the waves crashing against the cliffs filled her ears, a soothing lullaby that washed over her. In that moment, the weight of her loneliness began to lift, replaced by a sense of wonder. "It's beautiful," she breathed, her heart swelling with a mixture of awe and longing. "It is," Harold agreed, standing beside her. "And it's always there, even when we can't see it, just like the love we've lost." Elena turned to him, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "How do you stay so strong?" she asked, vulnerability spilling from her like the tide. "Strength comes from accepting our hearts as they are," he replied gently. "We carry our memories with us, and while they may ache, they remind us of the love that once filled our lives. You mustn't shy away from your memories, Elena. Embrace them and let them guide you." As they stood in silence, the lighthouse beams swept over the dark waters, illuminating the waves like a trail of silver. Elena closed her eyes, letting the sound of the ocean wash over her, mingling with Harold's words. The lighthouse, once a symbol of her isolation, now felt like a sanctuary. But as the stars twinkled above, a shadow of doubt crept back into her heart. She remembered the community she had left behind, the friends who had moved on while she had stayed rooted in her grief. The thought of reaching out, of attending the local gathering that was happening soon, filled her with trepidation. What could she offer them? Would they welcome her back into their fold, or would she remain an outsider, forever lost in her sorrow? "I've been thinking of attending the gathering," she admitted, her voice trembling. "But what if they don't want me there?" Harold turned to her, his gaze steady and reassuring. "You are a part of this community, Elena. They will see the light you carry within you, even if you can't see it yourself. Don't let fear dictate your path. Sometimes it's in vulnerability that we find our greatest strength." His words hung in the air, a gentle push toward the connection she so desperately sought. Yet uncertainty gnawed at her. She wanted to reach out, to find solace in shared stories and laughter, But the fear of rejection loomed large. As she descended the spiral staircase, a small flicker of hope sparked within her. Perhaps Harold was right. Perhaps the lighthouse, a place that had once seemed so distant, could become a bridge to the warmth of community once more. But for now, she would take one step at a time, allowing the light to guide her forward. As they exited the lighthouse, the night air was still, and the stars twinkled like tiny jewels scattered across a velvet canvas. Elena took a deep breath, allowing the scent of the sea to fill her lungs. "Thank you, Harold," she said, her voice steadying, "for everything." "Remember, my dear," he replied, his eyes twinkling, "the lighthouse will always be here, waiting to guide you home." In that moment, Elena felt a flicker of determination. She would find a way to connect again, to embrace the love and memories that shaped her, even if it was daunting. Perhaps she could share her story, just as the lighthouse shared its light, illuminating the path for others who felt adrift. As she turned to leave, a thought crossed her mind. If you find comfort in stories like this, stories of healing and connection, consider subscribing to the channel. Together, we can share these journeys and light the way for one another, just as the lighthouse guides lost souls back to shore. With a heart full of hope, Elena stepped into the night, ready to embrace the journey ahead, one gentle wave at a time. The storm arrived with a furious roar, as if the ocean itself had awakened in anger. Elena stood at the threshold of the lighthouse, the wind howling around her, pulling at the edges of her coat like a wild child tugging on a parent's sleeve. The rain poured down in sheets, drumming on the wooden deck like 1,000 tiny feet racing to escape the tempest. The air was thick with the scent of salt and earth, the familiar aroma of her childhood now tinged with urgency and dread. As she pushed the heavy door open, a small bell chimed softly, a reminder that the lighthouse still welcomed those seeking refuge. Inside, the warmth enveloped her, contrasting sharply with the chaos outside. Old Man Harold stood at the top of the spiral staircase, his silhouette framed by the flickering light of the beacon that had guided so many homeward. His face, lined with years of wisdom, held a calmness that seemed unshakable, even amidst the storm's fury. "Come in, Elena," he called, his voice steady and reassuring. "The sea may rage tonight, but here you are safe." She stepped inside, the door shutting behind her with a resolute thud that echoed in the quiet chamber. The lighthouse felt alive, as if it were breathing alongside her, drawing in the tempest and exhaling peace. The glow from the lantern above cast soft shadows, dancing across the walls, and for a moment the storm felt distant, a mere backdrop to the sanctuary she had entered. Elena climbed the stairs slowly, each step a reminder of her connection to this place. Memories surged within her, laughter shared with her family, the thrill of climbing the steps as a child, and the stories Harold used to tell her about the shipwrecks and the lives saved by the lighthouse's guiding light. Yet tonight, those memories felt heavy, burdened by her loss. At the top, she found Harold gazing out at the tumultuous sea. The waves crashed against the rocks below, sending sprays of water high into the air, illuminating the darkness with fleeting flashes of foam. "It's a fierce night," he said, his eyes reflecting the wild dance of the ocean. "But storms, they come and go. They remind us of the strength we possess, even when we feel lost." Elena leaned against the railing, her heart pounding not just from the storm outside, but from the weight of her grief. "I don't know if I can find that strength, Harold. It feels as if the waves are pulling me under, one after another." The old man turned to her, his gaze penetrating yet gentle. "You are not alone in this, my dear. The lighthouse stands as a testament to resilience. You see, it has weathered storms far greater than any single ship could endure. It has seen countless lives lost and saved. Each beam of light it casts represents hope, a hope that washes over those lost in their own storms." Tears brimmed in Elena's eyes as she took in his words, the gravity of her situation sinking in deeper. "But I don't feel like I can hold on to hope," she confessed, her voice trembling. "Every time I try to remember the good times, the joy feels overshadowed by the pain of loss." Harold stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand upon her shoulder. "It is natural to grieve, Elena. You carry those memories within you, and they are a part of who you are. But you must allow yourself to embrace them, to let them flow like the waves. Grief is not a wall, it is a current. You must learn to swim with it." The tempest outside raged on, but within the lighthouse, a flicker of understanding ignited in Elena's chest. "How do I begin to swim?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid the storm would hear and grow fiercer. "By telling your story," Harold replied, "by sharing your pain and your joy with others. The community of Maris Cove is not just a collection of homes, it is a family. You have the power to connect, to weave your experiences into the fabric of their lives, just as they can weave theirs into yours." In that moment, a bolt of lightning illuminated the sky, casting a brilliant glow across the ocean. For the briefest instant, she felt a surge of clarity, a glimpse of the path ahead. The lighthouse had always been a beacon, and perhaps it was time for her to become one too. But just as the thought settled in her heart, the storm unleashed its fury. A deafening crack echoed through the air, a sound that resonated deep within her bones. Elena turned to see the lighthouse's light flicker, dimming momentarily as the winds howled louder than ever. Panic surged within her. What if they were to be trapped here, in this ancient tower, as the storm threatened to tear apart everything around them? "Harold," she cried, fear gripping her, "what if the storm breaks the lighthouse? We can't be trapped here." He remained calm, his eyes steady on her. "Fear not, Elena. The lighthouse was built to withstand the storm, just as you must build yourself strong enough to withstand your grief. It will pass, and you will emerge renewed." As he spoke, something primal within her began to shift. She felt her heart racing, not just with fear, but with a flicker of determination. The lighthouse had stood through countless storms, and so could she. It was time to face her memories, to embrace them, rather than shying away in fear. Suddenly, a particularly fierce gust of wind swept through the lighthouse, rattling the windows. Elena stumbled back, her breath catching in her throat. "What if it falls? What if I lose this place too?" The vulnerability in her voice echoed the storm outside, raw and untamed. Harold stepped forward, his presence grounding her amidst the chaos. "You cannot lose what lives in your heart, Elena. This lighthouse is a symbol, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, there is always a light to guide you home." Just then, the light flickered again, but this time it steadied, illuminating the room with a strong, unwavering glow. Elena's gaze followed the beam, tracing its path across the turbulent waters. It was as if the lighthouse had drawn strength from her resolve, a mutual reflection of resilience. Elena felt a rush of warmth and clarity flooding her heart, the fear receding like the tide. "Then I will share my story," she declared, her voice stronger now. "I will find a way to connect with the community, to show them that they are not alone, just as I have felt alone." Harold smiled, pride evident in his gaze. "That is the spirit of the lighthouse, Elena. It shines brightest when it is shared. Go now and let your light guide you." As the storm began to wane, the wind softened and the rain lessened to a gentle patter against the lighthouse walls. There, amidst the echoes of her past and the assurance of the present, Elena felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. She was ready to embrace the memories, both joyful and painful, to step into the community she had once felt disconnected from. The lighthouse, standing tall and steadfast, had become more than just a structure. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that she too could withstand the storms of life. With a heart full of determination, she turned to Harold, gratitude spilling from her lips. "Thank you, Harold, for showing me the way." He nodded, his expression serene. "Remember, you are never truly alone. The lighthouse will always be here to guide you, just as the people of Maris Cove will be." As they descended the spiral staircase together, the storm outside began to clear, revealing a sky dotted with stars, twinkling like distant memories waiting to be embraced. Elena could finally see the path ahead, illuminated not just by the lighthouse, but by her own willingness to connect, to share her journey with those around her. Now, let your thoughts drift away, and let the night carry you to gentle dreams. The storm clouds, dark and ominous, have finally begun to disperse, revealing a tranquil sky that twinkles with the first stars of the evening. The air is crisp and fresh, infused with the salty scent of the sea and the promise of renewal. After the tempest's fury has passed, the lighthouse stands proudly against the backdrop of a deepening twilight, its beams sweeping across the gentle ripples of the ocean, guiding not just the ships, but also the hearts of those who seek its light. Elena steps out from the lighthouse, her heart still echoing with the wisdom shared by Old Man Harold. His words, rich with history and warmth, linger in her mind, a balm for the wounds of solitude that had clung to her like shadows. She takes a deep breath, inhaling the cool air that fills her lungs with life, and for the first time in a long time, she feels a flicker of hope. The storm has passed, and with it, her burdens seem lighter. As she gazes toward the village, glowing softly in the dim light, she knows it's time to reconnect. With each step she takes toward Maris Cove, Elena feels a surge of courage. The memories of her childhood, once tinged with sadness, now feel like threads weaving a tapestry of her life. The laughter of her family, the gentle lapping of the waves against the shore, and the steadfast presence of the lighthouse are all reminders of joy and love that still reside within her heart. She recalls the time spent playing on the beach, the warmth of her mother's hand as they walked along the shore, collecting shells and treasures from the sea. These memories, once painful, now serve as a bridge connecting her past to her present. As she enters the village, the sounds of laughter and chatter welcome her, wrapping her in a comforting embrace. The community gathering is alive with warmth and light, the flickering lanterns casting a soft glow on the faces of familiar neighbors. Elena hesitates for just a moment, the memories of her isolation threatening to pull her back. But she takes a deep breath, remembering Harold's reminder of connection and the importance of sharing stories. With a gentle smile, she steps into the gathering, feeling the soft hum of conversation envelop her. Elena greets old friends and acquaintances, their faces lighting up with recognition and warmth. As she moves through the crowd, she begins to share her story, not just her sadness, but also her journey of rediscovery, of returning to the lighthouse that had always been a beacon in her life. Each word she speaks feels like a thread weaving her back into the fabric of the community. She listens to others as they share their own stories, moments of joy, loss, and resilience, each tale a testament to the strength of the human spirit. There is laughter, solace, and a deep sense of understanding that flows through the gathering, creating a circle of support that Elena had longed for. As the night deepens, the gathering shifts to a circle, where everyone holds hands, sharing a moment of silence to honor their pasts and the connections they have fostered. The lighthouse, illuminated by the soft glow of the moon, stands as a witness to this moment of unity. Elena feels a profound sense of belonging wash over her, a feeling that she had been searching for since her return. In this moment, she understands that the lighthouse is not just a structure of stone and light. It is a symbol of hope, resilience, and the unwavering strength of community. It has stood through storms, just as she has, weathering the challenges that life brings. She feels a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that her journey of healing is not just for herself, but also for those around her. As the gathering begins to wind down, Elena realizes that the stories shared tonight have created a tapestry of connection that she never thought possible. She invites her neighbors to join her for a walk to the lighthouse, where they can share more stories beneath the stars. Their footsteps crunch softly against the gravel path as they make their way, laughter and chatter echoing in the cool night air. Standing together at the base of the lighthouse, they gaze up at its towering presence. Under the moonlight, Elena feels the weight of her loneliness lift, replaced by a warm glow of acceptance and love. She knows now that she is not alone. She is surrounded by a community that cares, a family forged not by blood, but by shared experiences and the willingness to support one another. In that moment, Elena silently vows to keep the spirit of connection alive. She will be the lighthouse for others who might feel lost, guiding them toward the shores of understanding and acceptance. And as they stand together, she can almost hear the lighthouse whispering its secrets, reminding her that every storm eventually gives way to calm. As they walk back toward the village, Elena feels a sense of peace enveloping her like a soft blanket. The stars above twinkle like the eyes of old friends, and the gentle breeze carries the salty scent of the sea, reminding her of the beauty of life that continues to unfold. She knows that this is just the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with shared stories, laughter, and the comforting understanding that they are all in this together. As the night deepens, she turns to her companions, her heart full of gratitude. "Let us continue to share our stories," she says softly, her voice gentle yet firm. "Let us be each other's light, for in sharing we find strength and solace. Together, we can weather any storm." With that, they walk back to Maris Cove, their laughter mingling with the sound of the waves, the lighthouse watching over them, a steadfast symbol of hope and connection. Now, as the night wraps around you like a soft embrace, and the gentle sounds of the sea whisper sweet lullabies, let your thoughts drift away, and let the night carry you to gentle dreams.